Hello, guys. Can everybody hear me in stream okay? That is the first question. Well, make sure you guys can hear me. I've had to fix a couple things with my mic today, so... Okay, you guys are good on TikTok. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? That is the second question. Good to see you, by the way, Justin. I appreciate you for being here. 3-time month member. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Redbird, good to see you as well. Hello, hello, my lovely people. I've kind of waited to get on here. We were going to do this live stream about 3 hours ago, but I wanted to get on here right when we get new model data coming in, which is pretty important. So we're going to talk about that. Let me let the cat in real quick. I'll be right back. Go, Jenny. Either you go through the door or you come out. Hold on, fix. It never fails, guys. Cat is like, she'll scratch the door until she wants in, and then when I open the door, she runs away. Make that make sense. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about weather. We have Tropical Storm Humberto here this afternoon, here this evening. This got designated at 5 o'clock this afternoon, looking very, very impressive. We also have 94L, Invest 94L to the south of Humberto, which is more than likely going to become Imelda probably by tonight or by tomorrow morning. Honestly, it looks very, very impressive right now. We'll talk about what that storm looks like right now. First thing I want to cover, I want to talk to you guys now. I want to give you guys just a little bit of my opinion on some things. This is going to be one of the most complicated and hardest forecasts to nail down that I have ever had to nail down in my lifetime. I am not lying when I say that. When I legitimately mean I have covered weather for almost 8 years, this is going to be the most hardest forecast to nail down. We have 2 potential major hurricanes, higher in scenario, 2 potential major hurricanes heading toward the southeast at the end of this weekend, going into next week. That's worst case scenario. What happens? Where do they go? There is not enough like solutions and experience in the weather world that has seen this happen. There is not a lot of meteorologists out there that have seen this happen. So we are all like looking at models, we're looking at ensembles, we're looking at every dad gym update that comes out every second of every minute, trying to figure out what's going to happen, and nothing, like legitimately nothing. So hopefully over the next 2 or 3 days here, we're going to get an idea, but I want you guys to understand I am going to be very, very hard at work, as well as every other weather person in the world, trying to figure out what is going to happen with both of these systems. The first thing I want to let you guys know is, if you live in the Bahamas, if you live clearly in Puerto Rico, if you live from Florida all the way up to Maine, you need to be watching this. I would even say if you're in the flippin' Gulf, you need to be watching this, because we have ensemble runs that are trying to take 94L into the Gulf. I think that's absolutely insane, but it's a solution. It's something we have to watch for. So what I'm getting at is there are endless possibilities that what could happen at the end of this week going into early next week with both of these systems. Like I'm not joking. There are so many scenarios. Like typically, if we were just dealing with one tropical system, couple steering mechanisms, pulling it left, pulling it right, where does it go? Easy to figure out most of the times than not. A little bit of an issue with that sometimes. Now we have 2 tropical cyclones trying to form within a less than 600-mile difference of each other. There's going to be what's called the Fujiwara effect. I know you guys have probably seen people talk about it on social media. I've talked about it. That is something that could be a player down the road. That's something we'll talk more about as we get into the weekend, when we get more of an idea on where these storms are going to track, because that scenario only happens when we get these storms closer together. Right now, they're a little far apart. So that's a scenario down the road. Are we going to get... Let me get this question answered, because I know I'm going to get this answered all night long. I'm going to get this asked, about a million times. Are we going to get one of these systems to make a landfall in the United States? It is absolutely 100% possible. Are we going to get both of these storms to nail into the East Coast? Probably not both of them, but it's possible. There are solutions that do suggest that. Lower end solutions. But what I'm getting at is there are so many uncertainties with these systems. So, like I said, I want you guys to know that I am doing the best I can to look at data, figure out, digest it, figure out what's going to happen, and give you guys that information as quick as I possibly can. So make sure you guys are staying tuned to TikTok, to YouTube. We're going to have lots of live streams. We're going to be covering these 5 to 10 hours a day starting tomorrow. I'm probably going to be on here mostly all day tomorrow, going through the next couple of days, because we literally could have a hurricane making landfall in the southeast by Monday. That's how soon this is. It's not that far out. Literally tomorrow was Thursday. We're talking 4 or 5 days from now, we could have a landfalling hurricane in the southeast. It's 100% possible. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we get some nice, amazing things to happen that allow that not to happen, but it's definitely possible. So I want to go ahead and talk here about Humberto. This is Tropical Storm Humberto. This got designated at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Looking at a pretty nice looking storm here, a little bit lopsided. That low level center, or basically center of circulation, did finally get closed off here with convection. So we are seeing a little bit more intensification with this system. I'm going to let you guys know right now, Humberto is more than likely going to be the stronger storm. The models indicate that. There's a pretty good agreement on that. Humberto could make a run at Category 4, Category 5 hurricane status. It is not off the table. We legitimately could see our second or third Cat 4 or Cat 5 hurricane of the year. It is absolutely 100% possible. And the reason why that is because the water temperatures off the East Coast are so warm. We're not going to have any shear. We're not going to have anything to worry about keeping these storms or shredding these storms other than each other. So this storm has the highest ceiling to make a run at Cat 3, Cat 4, and maybe even attempt to hit Cat 5 status. That conversation we'll have down the road if it gets to that point. But definitely Cat 3, Cat 4 status is on the table for this tropical wave. Absolutely 100%. The southern one, we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But like I said, pretty decent looking storm here. Not really anything, other, than it looks decent. Like I said, the National Hurricane Center having this at 40-mile-per-hour winds right now, pressure at 108. We have model runs. So right now, like I said, pressure is at 1,008 millibars. We have model runs, the Euro and the Icon, that are showing this breaking 930. That is a high-end Cat 4, almost Cat 5. That is very impressive that we would see that big of a drop. That's what we call rapid intensification. We saw it with Aaron, and we saw it with the typhoon over in Taiwan, if you guys were watching that system. So this is Humberto. We're going to kind of talk here just briefly and kind of nail this down here. Like I said, pressure 108. I believe the National Hurricane Center advisory will be coming out with this here in just a little bit. We should be getting an update here pretty soon. So once that update comes in, we'll talk about it. But going back here is the first cone. Let's talk about this for a moment. This is the first cone that we got here tonight from the National Hurricane Center. I think the next one will be 11 p.m. ASST time. So that should be, I would think, here in the next 20 minutes. We should get our next update in the next 20 minutes, I would think. If not, it'll be 1 a.m. I'll double check on that. But yeah, like I said, we're going to have to, like I said, watch this very, very closely here. Humberto, more than likely, most of the models do have most of this going out to sea. It's not guaranteed though, because we do have some systems or some ensembles taking this further west. There are, like I said, this cone, guys, is going to change so many times. And the reason why that is because we have another tropical system trying to develop literally just to the south of it. And like I said, they're going to tug on each other. There's a ridge to the north that's going to help push this thing further west. There's a trough in the Carolinas, and down in the southeast, it's going to help, move this other wave around. Like I said, this is going to be the hardest forecast to nail. Like, I cannot stress that enough. So the margin for error when we talk about, can storms go outside the cone? Can storms ride the west of the cone, the east of the cone? The margin for error for this setup is so high. And I hate saying that because I know you guys want to know what's going to happen. I want to give you guys those answers. I want to be able to say confidently, hey, this is going to go this direction. There's none of that right now. There's really not any confidence with anything right now in terms of, we know we're potentially going to get 2 tropical systems heading toward the United States at the end of the weekend. So I need you guys staying tuned here. This cone will update again in just a little bit. We're more than likely going to have this changed. The National Hurricane Center going a little bit conservative, having a Category 2 hurricane by Monday afternoon, this coming up Monday. And then eventually, where does it go afterwards? A big question mark. And that's going to be due to this other tropical wave that we are going to be seeing down here just off the coast of Florida and in the Bahamas as we get towards Sunday and Monday as well. So like I said, if you're on the East Coast, guys, if I were looking at models in general, potentially seeing 2 major hurricanes, if worst case scenario, coming toward the East Coast, I would be prepared. Your guys' job, if you're on the East Coast, is to be ready, not flipping out, not, worried, that you're going to get 2 major hurricanes hitting you, because like I said, we just don't know that yet. But if you're in Florida, if you're on the East Coast all the way up to Maine, you need to be watching this, because we've had ensemble runs in today and yesterday and the day before show landfalls in terms of Florida all the way up to Maine. It is absolutely 100% possible. Like I said, on top of that, if we don't get any landfalls and these systems do in fact move out to sea and, we get, impacts, which we will have impacts clearly no matter what, I think at this point, the waves, the surf, the rip currents are going to be absolutely insane. I don't remember any time in my life of covering weather, and I've been on this planet for 24 years. And I'll do some more research behind the scenes. But I don't think I've ever seen 2 major hurricanes within a 300-mile proximity just off the East Coast. I don't think that's been a thing. I know we've had it happen in other situations in other places, but this is going to be a very, very interesting situation. It's also going to be a big learning situation for a lot of us Met people and meteorology students and all of that to kind of see what's going to happen with this. I will let you guys know the odds of these 2 storms combining are very, very low. Typically, when you have 2 strong hurricanes or 2 hurricanes in general, if they were to try to interact with each other, you're going to get what's called that Fujiwara effect. It's basically 2 lows kind of wrapping around each other. The stronger one would basically yank the other one away with it. We don't really have any support where storms are going to merge at all necessarily. it's a very low likelihood. So the higher end scenario right now is we see Humberto stronger, which is what's forecasted right now. Humberto being stronger would yank our smaller wave, because like I said, we're going to have another tropical system down here by the end of the week as well. Humberto being stronger would potentially yank both of these systems out to sea. That would be best case scenario. But right now, we don't have a lot of support for that. We have a lot of different scenarios here. So like I said, stay tuned to the Hurricane Center forecast here. We'll keep you guys updated on that. Like I said, we're going to be going live multiple times a day. We're going to be exhausted. This is going to be a very exhausting week. This is also the week that we tracked Helene last year. So I'm very used to the last week of September and the last 2 to 3 years that I've been doing full-time weather coverage being exotically crazy, whether it be a major hurricane hitting the panhandle of Florida like last year and doing what Helene did. If you guys were impacted by Helene, this is a hard week for a lot of you guys. I know it is. It's hard for me. I watched my family go through this last year. I watched Asheville, North Carolina, the hometown that I grew up in for 22 years, get completely wiped off the map last year. So this is a hard week for me. This is a hard week for a lot of people. So seeing that we're going to have potentially another system off the East Coast, a little bit different than, last year's setup. It's something about the last week of September is all I'm going to say. This is what it seems to be here recently. So, like I said, we'll keep you guys updated on this. Like I said, I would expect this hurricane track to change significantly, and it more than likely will. Let's take a look at intensity here. Let's just take a look at a couple different things. So right now, that low, well north here of Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands, not expecting any, impacts with land or anything like that. Let's take a look at the hurricane plots. So this is basically what all of the combined tropical, or not tropical, but the hurricane plots are showing us right now. More than likely, this, like I said, system, you got a couple taking it west, you got a couple taking it out to sea. Pretty decent guidance here showing that Humberto is more than likely going to go out to sea as a strong major hurricane. That's pretty decent. Not that we can't have changes. It's all going to depend on, how the system evolves over the next 2 to 3 days here. Updates will come. We'll keep you guys updated. But right now, Humberto is not a risk to the United States. It will potentially get close. We'll just have to wait and see what happens afterwards. You can see some of the GEPS ensembles here taking most of this track out to sea. There still are a couple outliers. Until those outliers are gone, I'm not ruling out that low-end scenario of this going further west. So we watch it, we see what happens, and we learn. That's what we get at here. So there's not a guarantee that both of these systems are going to go out to sea, and there's not a guarantee that they're going to go make a landfall, if you guys get what I'm saying with that. So kind of in the middle on that there. Here's what's very interesting. This is the new intensity track that we just got in, and you've got a lot of these models showing a major Cat 4 hurricane in about 72 to 84 hours. That is called rapid intensification. We saw Aaron go through rapid intensification. We saw Gabrielle go through rapid intensification. If we get to Saturday night, and this would be 60 hours out, about Saturday night here, and we're looking at a hurricane, there is a very good chance that these ensembles and these model runs and these intensity guidance are true. I mean, we've got most of the guidance suggesting a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hurricane off the East Coast by Sunday or Monday of next week. It is absolutely possible. I expect this storm to more than likely go through rapid intensification due to the fact that the water temperatures are so jam warm. So more than likely, guys, don't be shocked if this happens. It happened with Aaron, it happened with Gabrielle, and it more than likely will happen with Humberto, given the state of what we're seeing is. So I know there's going to be, and I want you guys to remember this, we're in hurricane season. We battled this with Hurricane Aaron when we were tracking it a couple months ago. There is going to be a lot of fear mongering. There is going to be, especially with these two systems, because it's all over social media. Everybody is going to think that they are a meteorologist. Everybody is going to think that they know what weather is going on. It's going to be a lot of false information ongoing. So make sure you guys stay tuned here. None of that happens. We don't do false information. We explain things. We talk about things. I give you guys my thoughts. We go, with all the professional ways of things here. So there's going to be a lot of that. So just make sure you guys block that out and just stay here. We got you guys covered. I promise. There's not going to be a single day that goes by where we don't talk about this. So, and like I said, we cover this. Once we get something coming toward the United States, we cover it until it's done. And I mean until it's done. So that is what my job is to do here for you guys. So that's what we're going to be doing. So like I said, we'll keep Humberto updated here. I want to talk about 94L. 94L is what is going to become Imelda. Imelda will more than likely be named either by tomorrow or by Friday. Probably by tomorrow, given the way this thing looks right now. Imelda's low pressure is actually just south of Puerto Rico here, so we are going to have Hispaniola interaction. We're going to have some land interaction. It's already pouring the rain in these islands. They're getting a lot of mudslides, all of that right now. So we are watching 94L develop. 94L is a big factor on what happens with Humberto, and Humberto is a big factor on what happens with 94L. We've just got a lot of things to look at. Pressure at 111 right now. Winds 25 knots. It's not that impressive in terms of convection. I will say, like I said, looking at it right now, you don't know where the low pressure is really at. If we were to go off the latest update, supposedly the low is over here. I don't buy that. We may actually be seeing convection try to initiate a new low pressure, a new low level center here. We'll have to look at what this looks like tomorrow morning. But Invest 94L has the potential to this would be our storm that would make a landfall, is basically what I'm getting at. The odds of 94L making landfall on the East Coast by Monday or Tuesday are actually almost 60-40, 50-50 odds. It's actually pretty decent. So if you guys are worried about a hurricane or a tropical system hitting the East Coast, this would be the one that we're watching. We're going to hope and pray that that changes and that trends. But like I said, this has got a chance. It's got a very actually decent chance. A lot of the ensembles, the European, are supporting it. There's now some GFS trends with it, and the Google Deep AI model runs have been all over this thing. It doesn't mean it's going to happen 100%, so that's what I'm getting at, is it's 50-50 odds, 60-40 odds, whatever you want to say at this point. There's a pretty decent chance. Florida, the Gulf, I mean, the whole East Coast, we'll talk about what that looks like here in a minute, but like I said, here is the updated hurricane plots, and the second you see this, you're going to be like, Jesus, this is going to the East Coast. Yes, that scenario was, like I said, 100% on the table here. It is absolutely, you know, not something to worry about. I don't think Florida is going to see a landfall necessarily. I think that's, you know, something we can probably, you know, put in our back pocket for right now. If you're in Florida, you need to be watching. If we're going to get a landfall, it's more than likely going to be South Carolina and North Carolina. That is what the models have been kind of showing and supporting here over the last couple of days. Florida, watch it. I don't think Florida's going to be, like I said, a landfall or anything. We'll probably have some waves. We'll probably have some wind gusts if this were to take a further west track, but it looks like North Carolina and South Carolina are going to be the areas that would see those impacts if this were to take that northern track. So a lot of time to watch this. These are going to change every 6 hours. They're going to move around. You know, like I said, we'll see what happens here. Florida, like I said, I'm not too concerned about, you guys. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens with that there. It's got to update. Okay, sorry. But yeah, like I said, you see this here and you're like, Jesus, this is going to go inland. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. We'll keep you guys updated with that there. And I think the tracks as well actually do show, you know, a hurricane by Sunday or Monday here. So we'll keep you guys updated here. 94L is going to be the one that we really do track. We're actually about to start getting our new model runs in. We're going to start to take a look at those here in just a second as well. I'm going to double check and see if NHC did an update. Okay, we don't have an update yet, so I'm so shocked. They may be waiting until 11 then. So, yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina, I don't think you guys are going to see any impacts from this. I can't say no yet, because if we were to get an East Coast landfall, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not going to say you're not going to see something and then not see it and then do see it. So, like I said, guys, this is one of those, you know, one of these forecasts here where, like, I absolutely hate this. Like, I'm all for tropical season getting going and hurricane season getting going and everything to, you know, have something to talk about, but this is not what I wanted. I was not for this. I'm not for two, you know, systems side by side, you know. This is going to be a headache. This is basically going to be Mesomat having not a lot of sleep over the next 6 to 7 days is what's about to happen. I'm going to be in my sleep wondering where the next update's going to be at and what's going to happen and where this is going to go, because I'm worried about you guys. I am. If anybody is ever impacted from storms, especially after watching Helene last year, you guys know, like I said, my hometown got absolutely destroyed by Helene last year. So, you know, anytime we have a tropical system coming toward the United States, this is like, it's kind of like a flashback thing, if you guys get what I'm saying. If you guys lived through it, you know what I'm saying as well. So, but anyways, we'll see what happens here on the next update. Let's talk about ensembles here. Like I said, did we get an update now? Okay, we did get 11 o'clock update. Okay, so it has strengthened. We are now at 45 mile per hour winds. Pressure is now down to 107. So we are almost at a mid-grade tropical storm. So that is the 11 o'clock update. There it is. Thank you for that, Brian. I appreciate that, bud. Let's take a look here at that forecast advisory, because we should be getting this in here in just a moment once this loads. So yeah, 45 mile per hour winds now at pressure is at 107. Let me read here. Okay, yep, it's now expected to become a Cat 3. So this will be 120 knots. Maximum winds 100 knots, 100 knots. I think. Hold on a second. Wind gust Cat 3. So we'll be right at almost Cat 3 status with this update. I'm going to let the cone update and we'll go from there. We'll let the cone update and we'll see what it does. Sometimes when you look at these forecast advisories, it's like, it's a mess. It can literally be a mess. So 105, 120. Yeah, right around 100 knots. So let me do math here. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me also look at... Gosh, I cannot remember this for the love of anything. Okay, so this would be a Cat 3. Yep, this would be a Cat 3. So the hurricane track is now calling for a major hurricane. Yep. Okay, so that's what I thought. So we're now expecting a Cat 3 hurricane by Sunday. I wanted to double check on that with the math there before I did it. So once this cone officially updates here, we'll pull that up. Just gotta wait for the advisory to come in. So that's what I expected them to do. I think they were a little bit conservative on the last update there, but we are now calling for a cat. Guys, this is going to be our... What's crazy is we've had 2 hurricanes this year already. Both of them have become a Cat 4 and a Cat 5. We're now expecting our 3rd hurricane of the year to become a Cat 3 hurricane, which is a major. So all 3 hurricanes this year will be major hurricanes. That's absolutely insane to like think about. Like, we typically have some that are weaker. Every single system this year has become a major hurricane that's come out of the Atlantic Basin. Like, that is absolutely insane. Every storm. Every storm. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Let's see here. I'm just waiting for the refresh on the cone. Excuse me. Interesting. I'm going to read this real quick. Yeah, so they basically have rapid intensification almost. So 48 hours to 60 hours, Cat 1, Cat 2. So we are going to have a hurricane in 2 days. Humberto is going to be a hurricane in 2 days. And then a major hurricane in 4 days. That's true as well, Tough. Yeah, I forgot about that. Imelda's going to be interesting for sure. I don't know if Imelda will reach major hurricane status. We'll just kind of have to see what happens through the next couple of days here with it. If it can get going quicker, then absolutely possible. Absolutely. Gosh, they've issued 33 hurricane advisories on Gabrielle. That's insane. All right, we're waiting on that update advisory to come in. Let me see if they posted it on here. Yeah, they haven't posted it yet, so. Is it on Radar Omega? Let's see here. Got a lot of rain in Kentucky right now. Yep, there it is. Okay, so we are now at Category 3 hurricane status expected. And that is going to be by Sunday. How about that, guys? And then, like I said, Imelda is expected to form here in the next 24 to 48 hours. Very impressive. Let's actually look at satellite imagery here. North Carolina's got to be watching. If you are a North Carolinian or a South Carolinian on the East Coast, you got to be watching this. I cannot stress that enough. That is where my concern is as of right now. It's literally just going to go from a Cat 1 to a Cat 2 to a Cat 3. It's just going to rapidly intensify. Very impressive. Let's take a look here at the clean imagery. There we go. Well, there's Humberto. This is not something, or not Humberto, this is Gabrielle. This is not something you guys see every day. Humberto's a hurricane about to hit the Azores, and then it's going to make landfall in Spain. That's impressive. Not something you see every single day. So we'll more than likely have Imelda named. Like I said, Imelda's going to be this blob down here of convection. I would say by tomorrow, genuinely. It's going to have to cross over Hispaniola here. And eventually, once it gets into this area right here, it will be pretty much good to go. It's just what happens afterwards here. So let's go ahead and take a look here again at those ensembles. GFS ensembles this evening. The new ones will start to update here in just a little bit. Most of the ensembles do show some type of land interaction. You've got Humberto going out to sea here, hopefully. But this is the big question mark. Where is Imelda going to go? Where is Imelda going to go? Is Imelda going to go, you've got some actually that recurve kind of an out to sea here. I think the scenario is less likely. But you have a lot of support with land interaction, whether it be North Carolina, South Carolina. Some do go out to sea. Humberto goes out to sea, and this is kind of an interesting scenario. But then you take a look at the Euro, and the European has been pretty good so far. This is kind of worst case scenario. We see Humberto go out to sea, which is great, awesome. You have Imelda. Imelda makes a landfall in North Carolina with a lot of the ensemble. Some do take it out to sea, some take it north, and you have one little straggler that takes it into the Gulf. So that's why I said we can't rule out a Gulf scenario until that outlier is pretty much gone. So Imelda is going to be the one, our I-name storm. It's almost every time it feels like is going to be the one that we really got to watch. Correct. Aline, Elite, I think is how to say your name. Aline T. I'm probably butchering your name, but yes, you are correct on that. So we'll just have to see how things play out here. Any further west tracks or southwest tracks with our actual ball of convection down here will push these ensembles further west, which is also my concern. Is a Fujiwara effect? We're talking a lot about it. We're trying to figure that out. The Fujiwara effect wouldn't happen until these systems get closer together, well out here over near probably Sunday or Monday. So if we were to get a landfall next week, it would be around Tuesday, Wednesday. Like I said, we've got a lot of things to look at. Still a lot of updates to come out here. Hopefully things change. That would be best case scenario. Let's take a look at the Google Deep AI model and see what it did. Yeah, this is awful. This is like worst case scenario. This is the Google Deep AI taking a major hurricane into the North Carolina coastline and then Humberto going out to sea. So that's not what we want to see. That is worst case scenario, and that's what Google's been showing for a good couple of days now. So that's what I told you guys. If you're in the Carolinas, I mean, what are the odds? You sit here and you look at it and you're playing with odds at this point. What are the odds? You know, what is the steering mechanism? Like I said, we're going to be sitting here and talking about this every single day for the next couple of days. So, Bermuda High gets a little stronger at the trough. Yeah, exactly, Scott. We're going to have a ridge over here that's going to be either stronger or weaker. We're going to have a cutoff low over here that's going to be either weaker or stronger. Each of those play an implication here. And when you look at, I mean, like I said, Humberto hopefully will go out to sea. That's a pretty decent consensus there. But like I said, this is not a good sign. We don't like to see that. I honestly trust the Euro and the Google Deep AI a lot more than I do GFS. GFS has just been awful this year in terms of accuracy. It's been awful. So, I mean, like I said, guys, it's not a slam dunk forecast. We're getting a major hurricane into the East Coast. But if you're seeing this and you're looking at this, you have to pay attention. You have to. So, like I said, South Carolina, North Carolina, not great. And then we're even watching a couple more waves out here behind it. So, any path to New England? I mean, you got one that takes it up here. You got one. You got one little outlier here. Yeah, the GFS has been in La La Land, and when it comes down to the end of the day of it trying to actually figure out where a storm's going to go, it doesn't do that great. And then here's the other Google Deep AI runs showing, I mean, guys, you can't ignore it. Like, you legitimately cannot ignore the signal. It's like, I don't want this to happen. I know nobody else wants this to happen, but you can't ignore the signal. So like I said, if you're in North Carolina, if you're in South Carolina, if you're in Georgia, you guys have got to be like in hurricane prep mode here. Like, not freak out mode, not like, you know, flipping out and going crazy, but this is that time. This is the week where you got to have your hurricane plans in place. We've had so many close calls this year, and I've told everybody, and I've said a lot on my videos and a lot of my streams, it's just a matter of time before something comes to destruction and, you know, hits the East Coast or hits the Gulf. And we're now got a pretty decent chance at that happening here. So we've still got time for things to change clearly as this system develops, and as we actually get a low pressure system, we'll get a better track at this. But my first bet is seeing European and seeing GFS, or not GFS, but seeing Euro and seeing Google Deep AI. Pretty damn good accuracy with this. So let's go ahead and start to look at our new models. We do have the icon loading in. I really don't give a shit about the icon, but we'll take a look here and see what the icon is doing. New run coming in now. Thank you, Tank, for the follow. I appreciate it. We're going to get the new GFS model in about 27 minutes as well. Let's see what we've got here. This will be very interesting. So here's Humberto. Here is 94L. There goes Gabrielle. L. It's funny. All right, here we go. Let's see what the icon's doing. Icon 993, 108. So this is a new update. It's coming in right now. We're going to watch it slowly come in. I'm just curious. So the icon already has this low way further to the west on this run than it was previously as well. So that's interesting to note too. There is Humberto, a hurricane by Friday night, I would say at this point. We'll have a hurricane by Friday night. That's kind of my thoughts right now with it. Also, guys, thank you for all the gifts, by the way. I appreciate it very much. Yes, Humberto did form. Yes. So, I mean, you can already see rapid intensification happening on Saturday here. So we'll be watching this like crazy on Saturday. Cat 1, Cat 2 hurricane by Saturday, and then we have tropical storm Imelda here probably. My biggest concern is how quickly does Imelda, strengthen, what happens. That's going to be a big thing because honestly, at the end of the day, if Imelda can strengthen and move further northwest a lot quicker before Humberto gets closer, we may get a United States landfall before Humberto even enters the picture. That's been a low end scenario that's been kind of given on some of the model runs. And then once basically Humberto slides to the north of Imelda, we're going to see that Fujiwara effect more than likely happen where Imelda, being the weaker storm, would get pulled back out to sea, basically, and kind of get yanked with Humberto. So the further, like I said, the worst case scenario is Imelda strengthens, moves quicker, and hits the southeast coastline before Humberto gets there, and then we have a problem with that. And then we had the European model run tonight basically show a double landfall. The Euro AI showed a double landfall. It had to pull out and then come back. Okay, that sounded really wrong, but it had to pull out and come back in. So that was a horrible joke, guys. I'm sorry. That was a really bad joke. That was really bad wording, so my bad. I tried to make y'all laugh. It didn't work. But anyways, it's fine. I tried for one time. I thought about it the second I said it, and I was like, oh, shit. Whoops. I appreciate you guys. It's fine. I mean, we are talking about our kids. It's fine. Somebody would take it wrong that way. It's fine. But yeah, okay, I'll just show you guys. I'll show you here while we wait. So the Euro AI did a double landfall. It's very interesting. You can see it takes a landfall on Tuesday up here on the East Coast. There's Humberto, and then it goes in and then does it again. So in reality, is this scenario possible? Let's say this happens, okay? Let's say Imelda moves quicker, doesn't stall out over the Bahamas. By Sunday, we have a tropical storm or low-end hurricane headed toward the East Coast. If Humberto stays behind Imelda, and what I mean by that is if Humberto doesn't race off to the north and get picked off with the ridge or the trough, which still is a less likely scenario right now, and we see Imelda move quicker, we could get Imelda making landfall and then getting yanked out to sea. But the issue is going to be, we're going to have a trough that's going to be potentially coming down over top of the North Atlantic Basin as we go towards the early portion of next week. And you're going to more than likely see, Imelda, or not Imelda, but Humberto get pulled off with that trough. But here's the issue, and this is actually a legit scenario that could happen. If Humberto gets pulled quicker before Imelda can come with it, anyways, this is just really bad, guys. I'm sorry. Then we could basically see, with the ridge coming in over top of Imelda, it would make a second landfall. Is that a scenario possible? Absolutely. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm going to hell tonight. It's fine. It's just, yeah. I really want to say something to make you guys laugh, and I'm not going to do it. Oh my gosh. It's a reach around, guys. It's a double reach around. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's gonna do a little reach around is what it's gonna do. I love you guys. Just know that it's okay. But yeah, like I said, there are so many scenarios. Like, I would rather just have one storm to talk about. That's completely fine with me. But having two is insane. We're just gonna have to play the waiting game, guys. A double reach around is sending me, hey, some things are great in this world, is all I'm gonna say. But anyways, if you know, you know. Anyways, we're not going to get into that conversation. That's not appropriate on this platform. But anyways, yeah, so this is the new icon coming in. It's already got a major hurricane by Sunday, which is expected at this point. So, yeah, double trouble. That's another good one as well. I like that. I like that option better. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all for putting up with my BS. Hello, Grandma. I'm good to see you, by the way. So we're just kind of watching the icon load in here. We'll see what the icon does. Icon's a little bit interesting. What time should we be able to tell the predicted strength of 94? Honestly, Egg, I don't think there will be a chance. I think this thing could strengthen all the way up to a landfall. I mean, this is a scenario that I'm going to say it for the first time. This is a scenario that I've never seen in my life. I have never seen two tropical systems form this close to each other in my lifetime. I've never, or at least I haven't paid attention to it. So this is a first for me. That's crazy, Aiden. This is a first for me. This is a first for a lot of other meteorologists. I've heard some talks with Mets that are been doing this for 50, 60 years, that are in their 70s and 60s, and they've even never seen something like this. So that tells you something. And that seems honestly very scary when you say it from a weather perspective, because we're supposed to be giving you guys very accurate information. But I'm telling you that because it is the first time. Like, I'm giving you guys those honest and, like, you know, legit feelings, because this is going to be a learning experience for a lot of us in the weather world, and this is going to be something that we either remember in terms of, you know, a learning experience, or we remember it because something really bad happened. So that's what I'm trying to get at, and that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, if you're on the East Coast, you need to prepare like a system's coming your direction. I'm telling people, if you especially live in North Carolina and South Carolina on the East Outer Banks there, you need to act like you're going to get a system or a storm this week. Like, I would just have that in my mindset. Don't freak out and flip out about it, but it's better to be prepared than not. Correct, Ernest, as well. Correct. Yeah, this would not be a great situation. So we're going to hope and pray for the best that models trend east, and we see both of these trend east, and then we're good to go. But in reality, we know in the back of our heads that we need to be preparing you guys for a potential hurricane on the East Coast. Like, it's not, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I know a lot of Mets and I know a lot of news stations won't say, hey, there's a chance you're going to get a hurricane on the East Coast next week. Prepare now. Because here is my honest question to you guys. When would you rather your meteorologist or your news station tell you to prepare for a weather event, right? Like, learning and remembering from Helene last year, you know, the forecast called for a ridiculous amount of rainfall in Western North Carolina. I think they had about 8 to 12 inches of rain before Hurricane Helene made landfall. And there were lots of people after the event happened that were, you know, saying that meteorologists never prepped people. If we go back, guys, if you go back and watch my forecast videos from last year, because we covered Hurricane Helene from start to finish, the second the National Hurricane Center gave it a chance of developing in the Gulf, we started talking about it. We covered that event all the week last year when this happened. And so 8 to 12 inches of rainfall fell in the Western North Carolina before, with a stationary front set up over top of it. Helene made landfall and brought over 20 extra inches of rain back up into the Carolinas. They had over 40 inches of rain in Asheville, North Carolina. It was ridiculous. They told the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina, put out a statement to everybody in Western North Carolina, basically saying you need to prepare for the worst weather event that you have ever seen in your life. That's basically the statement that they told everybody the night before it happened. And, you know, there's a lot of people saying that, you know, it was too late, it was too early. The National Weather Service actually did a very, very good job with the rainfall totals and everything that came out. It's just, you can't prepare for an event like that when you've never prepared for an event in your life like that, if you guys get what I'm saying. So, like, say you've never been through a Cat 5 hurricane and you move to an area that sees hurricanes and you get a Cat 5 hurricane. If you've never been through something other than what the public is telling you to do and, you know, how to prepare, you can't really prepare for that unless you've either been through it or at least experienced it to a certain extent. So that's what a lot of people in North Carolina went through last year is, you know, they've never seen that. Guys, I lived in Asheville, North Carolina for 22 years. That is my hometown. I am literally watching my hometown on stream get destroyed and demolished. Over 300 people died in my state, let alone last year, from that event. And, you know, it's a learning thing. It's a learning thing. And sadly, it happens. Natural disasters happen. We all know that. But going forward after last year, I legitimately I just, in the back of my head, I know when to pull the plug and tell people when to start preparing, but I also know how to be, like, not scare people, but let people know, like, hey, like, start getting ready. But at the end of the day, it's the people that say, oh, I've been through this, I'm not going to prepare. It's not going to be as bad as this storm. It's not going to be as bad as that. You know, people will say, oh, it's not as bad as Katrina. It's not as bad as, you know, Irma or Helene. It's not going to be the same. Guys, we've had tropical storms and low-end hurricanes, you know, like Hurricane Harvey, cause major destruction more than a Cat 4, Cat 5 has done in some areas. Like, it really depends on what the storm strength is, how big the storm is, what it's bringing, how long it's sitting over a certain area. That's why I always tell people, you can't compare storms. And just because it's not this monster Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5 coming towards you, doesn't mean it's not going to cause really, really bad problems for some people. So you guys got to think about that. So my job is to get you guys prepared as soon as possible, but also not stress, like, hey, this is going to happen without, you know, proper precautions and proper, confidence in a scenario happening. So with this situation, if you guys have been watching me for the last week now, we've been talking about, hey, there's a potential for 2 tropical systems in the Atlantic as we go toward the last week of September. Google Deep AI was showing it a couple days ago. We were like, all right, here we go. We're going to be watching this. Now that we're actually getting ready to have 2 potential hurricanes off the East Coast, it's go time, guys. You just got to prepare. And if it happens, it happens, and you're prepared, you're good to go. If you're not prepared and then it happens, then you're screwed. But I would rather you guys be ready to go for a hurricane on the East Coast than not be ready to go for a hurricane. There's people that'll argue with me all day on that and say that that's fear mongering or not. I don't really give a crap. I'm here to keep you guys safe and prepare you guys. So that's where that's at with that. I'd rather you guys be prepared for something that may or may not happen than not be prepared. So that's where I do what I do at. So yeah, Hurricane Andrew. Yeah. And that's the thing about it. These storms can strengthen all the way last minute. There's really not going to be anything out here that really keeps these 2 storms from strengthening other than, them competing with each other. That's really about it. So we've got a lot of watching to do, guys. This is going to be a very exhausting next 6 to 7 days. It's gonna be exhausting. You're going to see a lot of me. You're going to probably get tired of me talking. And Mesomat's not going to get a lot of sleep, so that means Mesomat's going to be a little bit grumpy. So if you come in my chat and you're rude as hell, I will out you easily, absolutely easily. You also get blocked by the mods, but don't come in chat and be rude. Is all I'm going to say with that. People from last year remember that very well. So I will say probably today and tomorrow will probably be my last 2 nights of adequate sleep, because once Saturday and Sunday get here and we're 72 hours out from 2 monster storms off the East Coast, Mesomat's not going to sleep. My weather team knows that. Rochelle knows that. I know that. I'm not going to sleep. I'm just not. It's just how it is. I've got people and friends and family that live in the Outer Banks, or not in the Outer Banks, that live on the East Coast as well. So I have to keep those people in my mind as well. So exactly, too, Ernest, 100% as well, bud. Hello, pretty Skittles. Energy drinks on deck. I did a grocery run today. I'm stocked up and ready to go. So we'll be doing this, guys. We've been waiting all year for something to happen, and we've done a pretty good job at not getting anything so far yet this year, but you get something like this and it's like, oh gosh. So the Icon model has a 948 millibar Cat 4 hurricane by Monday morning at 6Z, and then our tropical storm a little bit weaker, just to the west of it here by Monday morning. So Monday is when I think we start to really see, and I would say Monday, Friday into Saturday is when we really start to see what's going to happen with this. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Tiff, what's up? Tiff, I need to get with you, by the way. I've got to have a conversation with you whenever you're free. I tried to call you earlier, but I don't know if you were busy or not. You're good. I do need to have a chat with you at some point, like legitimately. So if you live on the East Coast of North Carolina, even a little farther inland, the odds of a hurricane or tropical storm making landfall by Monday or Tuesday is going up significantly. That's basically kind of my message to people right now. What are those impacts going to look like? What are we, what's worst case scenario? What's best case scenario? Those are still trying to be figured out right now. That's what we're trying to figure out. So I think Humberto is going to make a run at a pretty strong storm, and then we'll have to see what Imelda does once it gets going. So for how many, just quick poll, how many Eastern North Carolina people do I have in here, and how many Eastern South Carolina people do I have in chat? Correct as well, Brian, correct. Hi, Sky. As an egg, I know you are. Okay, I have a good amount of you guys in here. Okay, nice. I love my North Carolinians. I'm from Asheville, guys. I lived there for 22 years. I've only been up here in Kentucky for 2 years, so. Do I miss it? Yeah. Aw, Aiden, I'm sorry. You're in Florida, bud. You are in Florida. Yeah, so the Icon already basically... the Icon, I think, is an outlier in this situation. It's really different than what the Euro has. The Icon has Humberto passing quicker by Monday and actually pulling Imelda back to the east-southeast here. So I don't see this scenario really happening. It's a scenario we have to watch. Sadly, I wish this scenario would be happening because it would keep both systems off the East Coast. So this is actually kind of best case scenario here that we see, this happen. But I think this is a less likely scenario. What's up, Corey? Should I chase it? I mean, dude, if you're gonna drive or fly to the East Coast? Absolutely. We'll have to see though. I would make that judgment call probably closer to the weekend. That way, if you drive down there, you know, now you're not, and it misses, you're gonna be like, oh shit. The good news is though, with this system, this is not going to be going towards Western North Carolina. At least it's not expected to. This is going to be off the East Coast. So we're not seeing a lot of guidance for like a far inland track. This would be just like nudging the East Coast. Northwest Georgia, Leah, I think you're going to be okay. Just stay tuned to the channel here. If anything changes, we'll keep you guys updated. I would chase the tornado stuff out of it. I love that for you, Corey. Heck yeah. Heck freaking yeah. Dude, I honestly would love to chase a tropical system, not gonna lie. I think that'd be pretty cool. Oh, now we got the bot pages coming in here. Dude, I'm honestly so blown away I'm really not blown away how yesterday's severe weather threat did busted like crazy. I'm really not. Here's how it works. Either anytime we get an enhanced risk, it busts because it's just an enhanced risk, or literally yesterday, the reason why it didn't happen was because the vertical wind shear profiles were basically all parallel to each other. I was on stream yesterday for 6 hours, like covered like nothing. We didn't have a single tornado warning on stream yesterday, and then we get off stream and then we had one warning finally happen. Louisiana did have a couple warnings today. So yeah, you're going to see the icon run here. It's going to Fujiwara. You can see how Imelda would get pulled to the north and then get pulled right back around. So and when the Fujiwara effect happens, your stronger hurricane will pull your weaker low around it, and it basically kind of gets wrapped up into it almost. It's kind of like a slingshot. So this is one scenario. It's possible. Absolutely. It's the icon's been showing this for a while. I don't really like this scenario just because it's an outlier. That's the biggest thing, is it's an outlier. So take a look back here. This is Tropical Storm Humberto. Trying to get itself together here. We'll actually take a look. Let's do this here. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Where are we going here? There we go. Yeah, so once again, we have Gabrielle up here going east. We have Tropical Storm Humberto. And then we have lots of deep convection from 94L today. We'll see. I have to see how this looks tomorrow when we get up. Miami, Florida, you guys are going to be okay. I'm not too worried about you guys. We'll have to watch for you guys as we go into October, though, for more development. I want to see what the GFS does tonight and see if it corrects itself or not. That's going to be the biggest thing to watch. Yeah, you see the icon? Look at it. Kind of wraps it around it. It's very interesting. So this run will probably pull it out, and this will go back this direction. Yeah. This would be best case scenario. Humberto passes to the north, and then we get both of these storms going out to sea. That's best case scenario right there. That would be the perfect option. I would love this option. Is it going to happen? We're going to have to wait. Time will tell. Is the Gulf safe for this? I would say yes. There's a very slim chance that Imelda would slide there into the west. Into the Gulf. We'll just kind of have to watch it and see. If that happens, I'll sit at home. I would sit at home too, dude, honestly. You guys may have to come back in and come back out. Yeah, this would be best case scenario. It'd be a great scenario. I'm okay with that one. By the way, make sure you guys are following me on all of my other socials. Insta, Facebook, all of that stuff is in my bio. We'll keep you guys updated on there as well. So if you guys ever need anything as well, you guys can always message me. My DMs are always also open. It's going to be a long next couple of days, folks. A long one. Let's look at our let's look at our hurricane runs and see what they're doing. Can we get a loop on this? Wait, that's not the one. That's, that was Humberto, I think, actually. Yeah. Is this the latest Wharf run? Interesting. That is interesting. Hold on a second. Let me actually... Let's do 94L. Let's see what the H-Warp did with 94L. Yikes. That is the Hurricane model. That's the H-Wharf. That's a landfall. That's a new run that's coming in right now. That's a landfall on Wednesday. It says, Imelda, we're going to go west. That's just one run. That's just one run. Guys, there's so many different hurricane models, though. So it has, the H-Wharf is actually better with strengthening storms. Interesting. So that's the new run that just came in. What did the 12Z do this afternoon? Melda gets going. There's Humberto and there's Melda. So that the other run didn't go all the way through. Interesting scenario. Okay. That's worst case scenario. HMI is 9. Is it really, Aiden? Hold on a second. Let's take a look at the HMON. Why is it wanting a landfall for all of these? Hold on, let's go to tropical tidbits for a minute. So that's on the 26th. That's Friday night. Yeah, hurricane models do a pretty good job. Oh, that would be awful. That would be awful. Oh. Yikes, that's not great. Good thing is this is over 5 days out. That would suck. This is a Melda, yeah. The hurricane models don't even see the influence with Humberto, which is also very interesting to know. We're not guaranteed a Fujiwara effect either, guys. I want to make that known. What did the 12Z do again? Let me look back at the 12Z. Oh, the 12Z didn't even go that far out. I don't know why the 12Z doesn't go that far out. That's weird. Let's look again at the HMON. Let's see what it did. Also wants a landfall. Interesting. Okay. Well, like I said, time will tell what happens with this. Be next Wednesday morning. Yeah, just make sure you guys are watching. That's the biggest thing right now. Is just that we're watching. Yeah, I don't see this scenario happening. I really don't. It'd be a great scenario, but I don't see it being that easy. All right, GFS will start loading in here in just a minute. What did the graph do? Excuse me. Oh. Hold on, guys. This cat is taking books off the bookshelf and slamming them on the floor while everybody else in the house is sleeping. Who else would it be? It's always her. It's always her. Every time. Rose is asleep. The kids are asleep. You're guilty. You know what you did. It's always her fault. Every time. Every time. Never fails. Ah, little shithead. Jesus. Every time. Legitimately. Oh, man. All right. Like I said, GFS is going to render in here in a minute. We'll see what that does. You guys got any questions for me? Like I said, there's just not a lot of things. There's so many scenarios, but so many likelihoods or unlikelihoods it could happen. So just a lot of things to figure out over the next couple days. A lot of things. Opinion on it's they're both just slamming the East Coast, Aiden. Legitimately. I'm confused on why wouldn't the tropical storm set right at the invest push it east more, because they're too far apart, Dalton. They have to be a certain distance before they start playing a role on each other. So by the time we get closer to Saturday and Sunday, they'll be about 300, maybe 200 miles apart, where they'll actually start interacting with each other. It's just dependent on how strong the lows are, and there's a million different things on why that is. If we were to get a landfall next week, guys, it would be Tuesday, Wednesday, as of right now. So this is Humberto currently right now that we're looking at. All right, I'm checking a couple updates here on my phone real quick on some things. See if NHC's done anything. Yeah, I would almost say right now, yikes. I would almost say right now that an East Coast landfall is 60-40. I think we have a very good chance at a landfall this week. I really, really do. Um, you can't not look at the guidance. It's hold on a second. I'll pull something you guys can see here again. Hold on. Unless we get some drastic changes or trends back east again, um, it's not looking great if you're on the East Coast. Let me pull these plots back up here. No, guys, Humberto is going to go out to sea. Humberto is not going to make a landfall on the East Coast. It's going to be 94L, which becomes Imelda either by tomorrow or Friday. You can't ignore this, and these can change, like I said, but I mean, you've got a pretty much every single hurricane model running this thing into the East Coast. Just can't ignore it. And with the further west that this system tracks, the higher chance we have of an East Coast landfall Wednesday. Yeah, and so my issue also is the models, hurricane models, even as well as general models, don't do a great job with showing rapid intensification. So when we take a look at the ocean temperatures right now, I want to show you guys this. Where this storm will be tracking, Humberto is going to be over here. Humberto is going to be going like this. That's Humberto's path as of right now. Imelda is going to be down here and then moving into the warmest water temperatures to the south. So in reality here, if Imelda can get itself just far enough away from Humberto, we could actually see rapid intensification and just off of Florida. And then eventually we would put a Cat 2, who knows, higher than that, up into North Carolina, South Carolina. So like I said, it's just, there's so many different scenarios here. Real Coffee, if you think this is fake news, you should go check some other meteorologists out there, bud, because they're all talking about it. But anyways, if you are on the East Coast, my biggest advice would just prepare for a hurricane. If you are concerned and worried, prepare for a hurricane. So that's just kind of the best case, not best case, but worst case scenario right now. I can't answer questions about Virginia. If you're on the East Coast, you need to be watching, you need to be prepared, because every day that we get closer, these tracks shift further west is what it's seeming to be right now. So however you prepare on the East Coast, whatever you do for tropical systems or hurricanes, I would be considering doing that, especially as we go into the weekend here. We still have time for things to change, but right now, the further west, like I said, it takes for this convection to get itself going and going, track further west, the better chance we have of, this system going north. So just something to note of. You can believe me or you don't have to believe me. You can go watch other meteorologists that are literally talking about the same thing, or you can go watch people on TikTok that post fake fear-mongering videos that most people trust more than myself, because that's typically how it is. TikTok pushes out that stuff more than my videos. But anyways, TikTok would rather have false information from people pushed out than real information. So but yeah, you can't ignore these tracks. It's very interesting how this is going to play out. So once again, this is 94L here. We'll just take a look at it again. I'm not saying Florida is not going to see impacts, but we'll see. We'll just have to see what happens. I hope you guys trust me. Whether you do or you don't, hopefully I can make you trust me if you don't trust me. That's the plan at the end of the day. So let's see what the GFS does. The GFS has been in its own island, showing nothing that makes any sense in terms of what the other models and ensembles are showing. So we'll just kind of see what happens with the GFS that's going to render in here in just a moment. We'll see if it recorrects itself finally. I appreciate that, Ken. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, guys, my job is to spread the best information that is possibly out there. I'm literally showing you guys the same exact thing that your meteorologist on TV would show you, and that the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center, this is all the same stuff, just re-explained and opinionized based off of my meteorological background. So I'm in med school. I've currently got 2 years left before I'm a degreed met. I've been doing weather coverage, hurricane coverage, tornado coverage for almost 8 years now. I've been doing this for quite a long period of time. And, there's been things I've missed and not called and all that stuff. It happens. It's weather. But my job is to keep you guys safe. And like I said, give you that best weather coverage as possible. And that's what we're going to do. So you get some things right and you get some things wrong. This is definitely going to be one thing that could go wrong or could go good. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. I'm actually shocked we haven't had anybody in the chat yet saying they're both coming to the United States because they see the cones, the way that the cone is shaped. That's actually shocking. It's actually been a pretty decent stream. I always wonder during hurricane season if we're going to get those crazy comments. But yeah, I do think the potential for a hurricane making landfall on the East Coast is very possible next week. So, like I said, that's just something that you guys need to be prepared for. We'll see what ensembles do in the morning when we wake up as well. I'll have a live stream for you guys in the morning as well. Yeah, the chat's been awesome tonight. You guys have been super, super awesome. I was actually a little bit concerned about getting on here for the first time in a little bit and doing this for you guys, but you guys have been awesome. I really do appreciate it. It gives me hope for hurricane seasons, because if we can have a respectful stream and chat where people aren't fear-mongering and going off of conspiracy theories, because once again, guys, you're allowed to have opinions, you're allowed to have your thoughts. I 100% respect that. But when it comes down to the forecast and what weather is actually doing, there is always going to be an explanation. There's always going to be a meteorological breakdown. It's just people either want to listen to it or they don't care to listen to it. So I have lots of friends that do have conspiracy theories about weather and stuff, but I don't do that here. I am here to give that perfect weather coverage for you guys. So you want the random Louisiana, Lainey? That's okay though. I'm okay with not that. 2 + 2 is always 4. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or 22. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Lynn, Eastern Oklahoma got very lucky the other day. Very, very lucky. Ooh. So let's see here. What's interesting too is the models have what was trending, keeping this trough a lot longer out, is basically taking this trough out by Friday, Saturday. So that trough will be gone, and we're really just going to be watching a bridge and 2 storms. I'm just hoping that I can wake up tomorrow morning and nothing drastic happen overnight. That is always my fear when we're covering systems like this so close, is that I wake up the next morning and we just have a barrage of BS. That's what worries me. Bryce, we're watching the potential for a hurricane on the east coast of North Carolina or South Carolina this weekend. Absolutely on the table. Absolutely. That's crazy, Lainey. I think the islands, absolutely, Scott. Yeah, the islands will keep development pretty low until we probably get closer to Saturday or Sunday. Once they move off the islands, that's when I think things will get going. Yeah, the low will be over the islands for most of tomorrow. Yep, it'll be this end of this weekend and into early next week. We potentially could see a landfall as soon as Tuesday or Wednesday if some of the runs trend. We actually will also be covering the potential for severe weather tomorrow as well up on the northeast as well. We got a little tornado risk tomorrow. So that'll be interesting to watch. If you guys are coming into the stream, welcome in. I appreciate y'all very much for hopping in. We're just watching the GFS load in. So basically, in a nutshell, guys, once Imelda forms, the southern storm, there's two track scenarios in a nutshell. Faster moving storm goes into the Carolinas. Weaker system goes out to sea, if that makes any sense to anybody. If that can help. So, is Florida in play? I would say so, yes. We've seen western track shifts a little bit all day today almost. But yeah, if you live on the East Coast, definitely need to have your hurricane plan in place. NATO cast just put a 5% tour out for tomorrow. To see what the morning runs do tomorrow. Oh boy, guys. What do I think is going to happen with Invest 94L? I think we'll have potentially a hurricane hitting the East Coast next week. I sadly do. That's what I'm... The confidence is increasing with that very much. Humberto will go out to sea and Imelda will make a landfall in South Carolina or North Carolina. Which will be our first one all year. So those chances are increasing. So if I've got anybody in here as well that wants to reach out to me, you guys can. I've got a lot of friends that live on the East Coast, so all of my socials are in my bio. If anybody wants to reach out to me as well, you can message me. I will gladly get with people, have phone calls with people. I'll be pretty, other than doing updates tomorrow, I'll be pretty chill. So if anybody wants to reach out, you guys can. Do we count as friends? I'm friends with anybody, guys. I'm open. I'm an open book. You chill. Oh, whatever, Liz. Whatever. I'm crazy. I can have my crazy days. So it looks like the GFS is finally pulling. Actually, let's look at trends. Let's do trends. Let's do a trend tonight. Yes, Aiden. Well, actually, no, Aiden. There's not. I read your question wrong. Can we see where we don't know, Zoe? That's the issue. We don't know. Models aren't doing a great job at putting where that's going to be at. Oh, that'd be pretty cool, Egg. Yeah, you need to be prepared if you're on the East Coast. You need to have hurricane plans in place. Atlanta's going to be okay. I'm not worried about Atlanta. All right, let's look at trends here. So 12Z, 18Z, OOZ. Further west, and a little bit stronger. So this was the 18Z, or the 12Z at noon, 1,993, 989. So we're already speeding up the process of the strengthening by Friday afternoon. Yeah, like I said, Zoe, I will give you the best and quickest answer that I can give you as we get closer to it. I will let you know in a heartbeat the second I know. I promise you guys, I am literally like looking at this stuff 24/7. The second that I've got a confident answer, you'll get it. So. I was afraid of the math. The math is hard. I go back to med school or meteorology school in January, so it'll be fun. Start to get the new ensembles coming in here soon. Excuse me. We've still yet to get anything in the Gulf yet this year, too. Oh, I appreciate that, Zoe. I appreciate that. Further west, still on this new trend. So we're just looking at trends. I love that, though, Lainey. I love that. I'm teasing you. A little bit stronger on each run here, too. I know. What if this happened? What if Humberto went and did this? I'm okay with that option. That's a cool option. Right into Lainey's house. Make a loop-de-loop and pull. You guys are cracking me up. Don't rope us into it. But what if it zipped across Alaska and hit? That'd be crazy. That'd be almost, I think, uncomprehendable. All right, so here's our first big trend. So this is 57 hours out, 18Z, OOZ. Weaker on Humberto with GFS, but stronger on Imelda. And a little bit further to the north. So like I said, worst case scenario, Imelda races off quick enough, gets in front of Humberto, and then makes a landfall. And then as Humberto comes by, potentially either pulls it back out to sea, or it just stays inland. Yeah, we don't want that. It's possible Imelda could speed up. That's what the ensembles are seeing, which is allowing for that landfall potential. Yeah, we could definitely wake up tomorrow with a completely different situation too, though. It was this Matthew that did the loop-de-loop, not the loop-de-loop. Oh, okay. So the GFS now is seeing Imelda strengthening a little bit quicker now. That's interesting. So it went from a 105 to a 999 on Saturday morning, way further to the west. So GFS is finally catching up to what the Euro is seeing, which finally makes some sense. Makes a little bit of sense there. Not the Control-Alt-Delete. That's crazy. I'm gonna Control-Alt-Delete you, Stephanie. Send a EF5 wedge to Oklahoma. So we are just watching trends. Yeah, so wow. So the GFS is now going Almost category 1 hurricane with Imelda by Saturday afternoon with a Cat 2, Cat 3 to the east of it. That is interesting. We'll keep seeing how this plays out. Matt, you be nice to Steph. I love Stephanie. You're not my mom. It's a further west track. Excuse me. So look at this. Guys, look at this. This afternoon when the 12Z was coming out at lunchtime today, Imelda wasn't even a named storm. Now watch. We'll go to the 18Z, tropical depression, now hurricane. So the GFS is now starting to realize and pick up what the European and the Google Deep AI are showing. The GFS is always behind every single time. That's crazy, Cookie. That's insane. I hope they're okay. This is why the GFS is just not the great one when it comes to tracking tropics. That is a big difference right there. I can't wait to see what they're going to start talking about on X with this. I don't think so, Tough. Egg, I'll just be, if you trust me enough, I'll be that call if you want that call. If it looks like we're gonna get a hurricane by Saturday, then we can start looking at that option. Yeah, it is annoying, Brian. No, we wouldn't see these two more than likely combine. They would get sheared out. Yeah. There's no such thing as a Category 6 hurricane, guys. Yeah, that's that fear-mongering you're seeing out there. All right, let's get the next run. Wow. Yep, so it's keeping Imelda in front of Humberto. Cat 67 is crazy. Yeah, that's the difference. So the GFS now has Imelda as a hurricane by Saturday, which would speed up things pretty significantly in terms of the impacts. This is crazy how this is changing. Yeah, so the 18Z, sorry, the 12Z had nothing. 18Z goes 999, and now we're going 990. I bet you this run is going to take it up the East Coast. I bet you it will. And we'll finally have comparison, and then the ensembles will update tonight. And then we will have full-on agreement of a landfall, which is not great. That's what I'm kind of waiting to see at this point. Is the GFS finally going to trend with everything else? Because Google AI has landfall. Most of the ensembles have a landfall by Tuesday, Monday of next week. European ensembles are split with a 50-50 landfall, 50 out to sea. And then the GFS has kind of been trending back west with it again. So very interesting. That's crazy tough. That's insane. Yep, there's the difference. Look at the difference, guys. Ready? I'm going to actually zoom in here so you guys can see. So these are trends. Like, so we're looking at the different, each of the last couple of GFS runs. So this was the 18Z GFS 6 hours ago. Had a major hurricane, Humberto, low end weak tropical storm for Imelda. And then this is the new update that just came in. Ready? Goes from 1,000 millibars to 990, and it's placed further to the north. So once again, we are seeing the GFS finally trend quicker and trend stronger. So this is going to be a little bit of a different run here. It's a lot stronger. It's 989 now. It's literally playing catch up. That's the pressure. The pressure, when pressure drops, wind speed goes up. Alrighty. Can I buy a silent keyboard? Absolutely not, Steph. Sorry. I'm sorry. Very, very interesting. Sounds good, Brittany. I appreciate it. I'll have to move the thing here. All right, we're going to go back to the dermatistic run here, and we'll look at it that way. We'll see this as it updates. This is very close. So the GFS is now suggesting a Category 1, almost Cat 2 hurricane just off the east side of Florida by Sunday afternoon, this coming Sunday. That's a big difference than what it was showing earlier this afternoon. Very big difference. It's a very big difference. And you can actually see the west motion here a little bit with it as well on this run. This is gonna be interesting. What's up, Redbird? Get that new run here in a second. Is GFS rendering yet? Nope. I need it to render. I'm gonna zoom back out here again. Was it today, Redbird? It was yesterday. Was it on TikTok or YouTube? I'll have to look and see. I don't see anything. I'll take a look at it again when I get off stream and double check. Interesting. All right, they're side by side now on Monday on the run. Let's see if they start to yank on each other. This is so crazy. Two hurricanes side by side. Start to get pulled west. What are y'all doing in the chat? Can they combine like in the even? No. Mm-mm. Oh, not the politics in the chat. Somebody mute that person. Thank you. Make sure we keep it professional in the chat, guys. We're going to be getting off here pretty soon. I just want to see the end of this run, and then I'm going to go. I'll get off here. We'll be back in here in the morning. I know, I probably did. It's fine. It's all good. I'm going to try and get on tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, get an update out to you guys. It was the post you pinned. Let me look at it. I don't see anything. I'll refresh. Like I said, I'll look on my computer when I get off here. TikTok's been weird too with my comments, so. Mel. I know, Mel. It's meteorology is very complex. I try the best I can to kind of explain it to you guys. If there's anybody that's interested in learning weather, send me a message, by the way, too. I still do offer those meteorology classes if people are interested. What's up, Heather? It's just so weird, guys, seeing both of these systems on here. Yeah, that's fine, Egg. That's fine. Is it gonna do the thing? I think it's starting to get yanked. I can see it a little bit. Let's pull it up here again. All right, here we go. We'll see it come in. Literally side by side. That is something. Oh, I appreciate that, Kyle. I really appreciate it. That seriously means a lot. I respect that a lot. I appreciate you. Why are they still going west? It's still going west. It's both of them. This is not what I thought this run was going to do. But to scroll on X and see if anybody else has posted on the chat. I'm curious. I'm not the only one that's seeing this. Interesting. Kentucky's just getting a lot of rain. A lot of rain. Oh, you can see it getting pulled now. There it is. Okay, so once Humberto passes over, Imelda starts to get yanked to the east. I'm already seeing that motion. Also, I don't like the GFS because it keeps this very, very weak. Let's go back out and look at our pressure. I want to see what the anomalies are doing on this. Yeah, so this is interesting. If this ridge can slide back in, it'll pull it to the west, which would be also unusual. But this trough is what... Yeah, we should see this trough swoop down and pull it out to sea. That's what the models have been doing with it most of the day today. Let me look at trends again. This is going to be a big adjustment. Let's look at this. So this was the morning trend. This is this morning at 6 a.m. Here's Humberto. Here's Imelda. Lunchtime, further to the north. 18Z, way further to the north. And then now. And so it puts Humberto further to the east. But puts Imelda further to the west. Interesting. That's a big difference. 12Z, 18Z, 00Z. This is going to be very close, guys. Very close. That's a big trend with Imelda. Huge trend. Yeah, that's like a 300-mile difference almost. Yeah, if it gets pulled out. Yeah, so that's not a trend we want to see, even though it's still not making a landfall in the GFS. That's worse. That's a worser look than what this morning was, or this afternoon was. Okay. That's pretty much what I wanted to see. Alrighty. Nothing on the ensembles yet. You guys can see that Fujiwara effect happening. It's pretty cool. I do wonder, though, if... Yeah, this is the trough that's pulling it down. But also the GFS has the cutoff low a little bit stronger compared to the Euro. We'll have to see if the Euro trends it. All right, guys, I've seen what I've needed to see. I'm going to let you guys get off here tonight. We've been on here for almost 2 hours. I didn't expect to go on here that long. I'll have another update for you guys tomorrow morning. Like I said, it's not a slam dunk that either storm is going to go out to sea or make a landfall. We're just going to have to keep watching it, keep looking at ensembles, keep looking at runs. Hopefully we'll get some good information when we wake up tomorrow. We'll go to sleep overnight tonight and see some changes back to the east. That'd be best case scenario. But in reality here, like I said, it's very possible that we see a United States landfall potentially next week. So I'll keep you guys updated. Weather team, I appreciate you guys as always. All of y'all in here tapping, gifting, being amazing. I appreciate it beyond words. But excuse me. But other than that, see you guys back in here again tomorrow. Bye, y'all.